on today? Let's see who I want to pick on today. I think I'm going to pick on the lady with the crown. You knew this was coming. Lisa
so
R.
surprised.
Lisa R. Behave yourself. There we go. And I'm going to do the Queen's wave. Okay, Michael, let's have the feed. We're ready to go.
Right. Sending
Thank
the
you.
feed.
I've got sun in my face. Look at this. Dance with me.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour
dance.
of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
Thank you to the wonderful voice who introduces me every week. This is akaRadioRed. You can call me Red for short, but not for long. I'll be here for an hour. There you go. Monday, where else would I be? This is the place I love to be because I get to talk to creatives. They're not singers and dancers and artists and photographers and poets. They're real people. They have lives. They do something to create their life, their business, their home, how they talk, how they walk, everything about their life. And that's the creativity we're looking for. And in honor of one of my guests, this episode is going to be called The Mind Shift of Creativity. And you know who you are. Okay, I always pick something from one of the guests, but it's in honor of all of you. So I'm going to read my opening monologue, and I want you all to enjoy this. When I call your name, just wave so everybody is absolutely positively sure I'm talking about you. So here we go. Welcome to Read My Lips, where creativity takes flight. Cool conversations with creatives, a round table of delight with host akaRadioRed, whose words just, flow on her Scarlett mic in the live streaming glow. Today on The Mind Shift of Creativity, we will reveal what 3 guest creatives think and say for real. First up, Lisa R. Triggs, wave hello, with a song in her heart, found her voice in music, her passion's early start. From big city lights to the promotional race, she's a singer, an actress, and a human marketing ace. Lisa's shifting minds on the new author scene, teaching women to unleash their own inner queen. Lisa, I hope you enjoyed that.
Wow, that was fabulous. I really liked that.
I rent
Great
these
job.
out, and I'll make if the others like their poems, I'll make a group rate. Don't worry, we'll talk after the show. Samuel Bentil is here. A mind for construction stage, calms disputes into peace, a modern day sage. With 16 years in the industry's embrace, Samuel consults on forensic claims with grace. When his workday is done, the music beats. He solves at-home issues, blending recipe treats. I hope you like that, Samuel.
That was fascinating. I did. Thank you.
I had to get those in there. And Suzan Owens is with us, and she spells her name with a Z, not an S in the middle. Suzan Owens sees life through numbers and signs, a psychic medium discovering hidden designs. From the Nile to Sedona, her journey is vast. Numerology guides her, making moments that last. Suzan helps people follow their destined way with the wisdom she shares here and every day. I hope you she liked that. So join us, dear audience, on our creativity quest with me, akaRadioRed, bringing you my best, the mind shift of creativity on this August 19th day. We hope to inspire you to live, love, and play. What'd y'all think?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Cool beans. Okay, here's the disclaimer. I poured all of your bios, 1,000 characters each, into my friend. I'm calling him Roger Red, aka Roger Red. I had to name him. Is ChatGPT. I don't use the fancy one, the 4.0. I use the regular one, the free one. And said, would you help me condense the bios into, you're so special, all of you. These are 6-line pieces, not 4. Usually it's 4. And then I worked on the rhyme scheme and made sure that they really worked with your real bios. And then I put it together, and the human part of me took a long time. But how long do you think it took ChatGPT to come up with the basic draft of that opening? If you think it's minutes, put up your fingers and tell me how many minutes. Suzan, Samuel, Lisa, no? All right. If you think it's seconds, how many seconds? How many seconds? Put up your fingers.
Probably like 3.
10, 3. How many? Samuel? 5?
1 second.
1 second. You're almost. It's about a second and a half.
No
before.
way.
Yes,
Wow.
it comes back, but I have to load. I have to go through your bios and make sure that everything is ready. And then I load it in one big text block. And I hit the submit button and it comes back. And I say thank you. And then I go to work. So just so you know, that's the tool I like to use for my openings, but it's all me. Let's leave that there. Let's go around the table now that we've had the poetic, well, slightly poetic, the rhyming bios. Let's find out who you all really are. So I'm going to put you, Lisa R. Triggs, the lady with the beautiful crown. I met you all at the publicity summit and I said, anybody who wears a tiara like that's got to come on my show. There's a story there. I got to know that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put you on speaker view. Lisa, I'd like you to condense all the creativity you've ever had in your entire life into 3 minutes. We're not clocking you, but if you go long, I'll do this. And it's not disrespectful. It means just start to kind of come down. Okay. So Lisa, welcome. Let's hear who you are.
Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. I am a singer, actor, author, speaker, social media, gluten-free guru, and queen of the menopause. Oh my goodness. I been married for almost 33 years, have 2 adult children. My oldest just got engaged, so we're planning that now. I am in Ontario, Canada. That's where I live. I'm coming from Canada. And I just am thrilled to be here.
I want to know about your book. Tell me about the book. It's coming out in October, not that far away. What is it about? How did you get started as an author? When did you start to write? Give us a little more, Lisa.
Okay. So the book is coming out in time for World Menopause Month, which is October, and it's called The Menopause Mind Shift: How I Unleashed My Inner Queen and You Can Too. And it came about because I was struggling for a really long time with this part of my life, depression and so many other symptoms, but depression was the one that really kind of got hold of me and kept me kind of in this loop for years, actually, until last year. I kind of call it my transformative year, where I kind of had a few aha moments, let's say, and started to put things I already knew how to do into practice. And I started to see a change and said, you know what, I'm onto something. So out came the book. And it's a story of my journey, but also it's a self-discovery book, so that and it's for women. I wrote it for women. It's yes, it's my story, but it's also encouraging and inspirational, and I hope that women like it.
Thank you very much. I bet some men might enjoy reading it too and learning about what the woman in their life is going through. I'm just doing a little marketing for you here.
Yes.
Lisa, just tell us very briefly, when did the idea come to you for the crown? We have to know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's probably not as good as what you think, but I bought the tiara. My daughter turned 30 in May, and we went to medieval times. That's where she wanted to have her 30th birthday party. And they have all kinds of these tiaras that are adult size. And trust me, I've ordered some off of Amazon and had to send them back because they weren't as big. So I got it at medieval times at my daughter's 30th birthday party. And a few weeks later, I went to a woman's weekend, and I brought it with me. And 30 of us at dinner, I said, you know what? If you want to, does anybody want to put it on while they introduce themselves? And they did. Every woman in the room put it on. And then it just kind of became a thing. And
it looks wonderful on you.
Yeah, it just hit me one day. I said, you know what? When I was doing the title of the book, it just hit me. Unleash Your Inner Queen.
There you go. Sometimes those ideas come. Before we proceed, Samuel, you're next. I want you all, I'm a little remiss today. Oh, the sun's coming in my top window here. I'm going to be all different shades of all kinds of things going on here in my face, but I'm here. I want you all to make the shape of the letter L, please, with your fingers, with the first finger and the thumb. I think this is a pointer, the index, whatever you call it. And on the count of 3, join me in saying, hello, L, L, L. She knows I love her and I didn't forget. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L, L, L. Michael, my engineer at Voice America, would you please put this group at the top of the list? They won the synchronicity contest for the most on target, LLLs all together without any rehearsal. They didn't even know we were going to do this. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener, all L's. I've been trying to get her to move to a place with L. I took up a fake GoFundMe. Samuel, you know how much money I raised? Fake nothing. So I happened to accidentally, I wanted to move to London, and I had some vertigo recently. It wasn't very pleasant. And I tilted my head, and the N in London went upside down and became a U, and I landed in Loudon, Tennessee. So I went back to Laura, who's in Whitestone, New York, which starts with a W, Lisa. That we can't have that. Lovely, lanky Laura Legs, most lived in Whitestone. What is that? So I said, come here and visit me in Loudon. So I'm still trying to get her here. This we can afford. So anyway, yes, and it is the 19th of August, and we'll leave that one on the table. Samuel Bentil, I also met you at the Publicity Summit.
Yeah.
So happy to meet you. And you and I had to go back and forth a lot. I said, what do you do? Well, I solve construction disputes. I said, well, this is not a show for trade people in the construction business, but what can we talk about? And you said, it works for people too in relationships. And I said, do you want to be on my show on August 9th? And you said, sure, I'll be there. And here you are. So Samuel Bentil, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please tell us who you are? Tell us a little more, and welcome.
Yeah. So my name is Samuel Bentil. I'm a construction disputes consultant. I'm based in out of Vancouver. I'm living in a city called Abbotsford in British Columbia, Canada. And the question is that how did I get into construction dispute, a very niche industry? How did I get into construction disputes in Canada? So my background is I come from a family of 7, and I'm the 5th in line. I have 2 younger sisters after me. And when we were growing up, my dad was a mechanical engineer. He served in the army, and he was a peacekeeper working with the United Nations, traveling all over the world. So he came back home with books, novels, magazines, pictures of all his travels outside. And it really inspired us to really dream what was happening outside our country. So the desire to travel outside my home country in Ghana really was sparked in me when I was in my early years. But when I grew up, boys my age whose dad were in the military all would like to be in the army like their dad. And as fate will have it, after my undergrad degree, when I was in the selection process of joining the army, something just hit me and told me that this is not for you. So I just quit the selection process and I took a different path. And where did I go? I went into the world of mining, gold mining and construction of gold mines. Yeah. So right after my undergrad degree, my first job was to work in a gold mine. And it took me 8 years straight. I was building gold mines, expanding existing gold mines and building new gold mines. I worked on that for about 8 years. And that took me to travel outside my country, Ghana, to other countries in Africa. I worked in the DR Congo and I worked in South Africa. So even though I wasn't a peacekeeper like my dad traveling the world, through the mining, I got the opportunity to see other parts of Africa. Then after 8 years straight mining, I had had enough and I wanted to do something else. That was when my childhood dream of going overseas, like my dad, kicked in. And now I had the means, I had the funds to be able to fund my trip outside. And I took my bags, left the mining industry, and came to Canada. And to cut a long story short, for the past 10 years, I worked in the construction claims industry in Canada, helping companies resolve disputes in the construction field. So even though my dad, as a peacekeeper in the military, I couldn't be like him in the military. I'm now a peacemaker in the construction industry here in Canada, really living my dream. So that's my story, how I got into construction claims.
Samuel, so little of that was in the bio you sent me. I did not know about the mining, about the large family. I don't think anything was in there. I am fascinated, and I thank you. What I look for in bios, and the 3 of you know this, is people send me a CV. You know, I'm the head of a team of 500 people, and I work in this, and this, and this, and I've done it, and I've been on 1,500 radio shows. I want to know your origin story. I just got, so far, Suzan, I'm warning you, I just got Samuel's origin story, and I pulled Lisa's origin story, part of it out of her too. So this is what we're looking for, is who are you as a human being, as a person who has created your life? We found out how Lisa created the aura with the crown and helped to name her book. We found out where Samuel came from. Fascinating. Thank you, Samuel. That was lovely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Suzan Owens with a Z. My goodness, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please tell us by the number? Suzan, you going to tell me anything I need to know? Welcome. Tell us about yourself first. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so I will start at the beginning. I was adopted when I was 4 years old. I was a throwaway kid. I call myself a rescue child. And so I started there, right? And now I have an online business. I'm a numerologist. I have a published author of an award-winning book. I've traveled the world. I've done all kinds of wonderful things. I found my siblings. My biological mother, we reconnected. She lives down the street. So what do you want to know now? I talk about creativity because that's my thing. I'm a 3, a number in numerology. I'm a 3. Well, 3s are the creatives. We're the writers, the singers, the dancers, the actors. Yes, right. We're all 3s, and it makes me happy to create. I also, growing up, my dad was a welder. And I got to learn how to weld, and I've created all kinds of fun stuff, and I love it. I miss it. I don't get to do it anymore. He's retired. The business is gone, and I'm doing other stuff. But that was kind of a cool thing to do. I'm not going to talk about what I'm not, but I love writing, and I didn't know that I was a real writer when I was growing up. I mean, I like to write. I journaled all the time. But I didn't really grow into that until much, much later into my 30s, when people would read whatever I wrote and they'd go, you need to write more. You need to write more. And it took me a long time to really hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah. Oh, sure. But I sat down and I wrote Wisdom in Numerology, and it was a challenge, but it felt like it was a responsibility. I couldn't find a book like I wanted, a numerology book like I wanted. So I wrote this one, and I'm really proud of it. It's a concise guide. It's something you can look at and go, okay, what's a 3 life path? Okay, there it is, page whatever, and look it up. So you read a paragraph. That's it. It's not something you would sit down and read. It's not an encyclopedia. So it's
hold up the book, please. I want to see the book. Is that next to you on the other side? There you go.
Yeah, it's the one. It's behind me, but this is the book too.
Wisdom of Numerology. I hope you'll send me an e-copy of that, an ebook.
Absolutely.
I would love to see it. What attracted you to numbers? That's also what we want to know. How did you get into that?
Well, I've always been metaphysical and psychic, intuitive most of my life. And again, that didn't kick in till later either. But astrology, I kind of studied that growing up a little bit. But then when I picked up somebody's numerology book, and it was like, oh, the light's coming on. I was a sponge. I couldn't get enough. And I thought, no, this is me. This is my thing. And I found some other authors that I really liked, and they became my mentors. So I learned a lot, not just from my extensive library that I've collected over the years, but through other numerologists and things. And so I've learned it. And it's a passion. Absolutely. Run my life through it. Everything that I do has a number attached to it one way or another. Absolutely. And I do tarot, and I do, intuitive work too. So
I want your purple seat behind you. I want that purple chair.
Isn't that hysterical?
Yes.
I was eyeing that too.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's a throne, right?
I gotta have it.
Really uncomfortable, but it
doesn't matter.
I know.
That's great.
Who cares?
I started out with my pink sofa, and then I thought, oh, what am I going to do now? And I got the turquoise chair. And then my decorator friend said, Suzan, you're already over the top. You can't go anymore. So then, the purple chair shows up, and I have a gold one here. So yeah, it's a very fun,
nice,
very creative. Yeah.
I'm still sitting in my living room with the red velvet couch that I brought from, where did I get? Durham, North Carolina. And I think the couch is saying to me, okay, give it away. Let's get something else. But I don't know if I dare do purple. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, and pink wouldn't work in this house. It's a little more traditional. Thank you all for the bios. Fascinating origin stories. I really appreciate all the information you shared. Now, and Suzan, if we're nice to Suzan, Samuel, and Lisa, maybe she'll do some numbers for us later.
But absolutely.
I wouldn't want to ask, a favor, but it's possible. Okay, so this is the part of the show where I've asked you each to send me a fictional quote from a movie or a TV character, fictional, movie or TV character or a song lyric, and you're going to relate it to your own creativity. So Lisa R. Triggs, you're up for. Lisa, what does the R stand for? Are we allowed to ask, my dear?
Yeah, it's my middle name, which is Rose.
Oh,
The name
lovely.
just Lisa Triggs sounded like it was missing something,
Lisa,
right? So I
Lisa,
added
I
the
have
R.
3 Roses in my family. I'll tell you later who they are.
Yeah, I
You
was named
just
after my grandmother, my middle name. So yeah. So yeah,
okay.
it just didn't, Lisa Triggs just sounded like it was missing something.
Both of my grandmothers were Rose.
Oh my goodness.
My mother's mom and my father's mom, and somebody else's too. We'll talk later. I don't do family on the phone on the show here. Okay, so Lisa R. Triggs has sent us a quote from the song is Up, capital U, capital P, capital exclamation point. A song by who else? Canadian singer Shania Twain on her 4th studio album. It's co-written and recorded by her and her then husband Robert John Mutt Lang. It was originally released to North American Country Radio in 2023. It was named Country Recording of the Year at the 2003, I said, not 23, 2004 Juno Awards. The Billboard magazine says life-loving and instantly singable. It sounds like it's got the goods to go the distance. Shania's tone is as good as ever vocally. And here's the line Lisa has picked. Can only go up from here. I try not to sing on my show. Lisa, tell us, what does this have to do with your creativity? Go ahead.
I can only go up from here because I was down and I'm climbing up and my goal is to keep going up and lifting and giving and just keep helping and inspiring and creating the life that I want for myself and my family.
Thank you very much. It's a lovely quote. I may use it in my list. I keep a list of about 100 quotes for guests who can't think of a quote. I do have people who say, I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies. How am I going to quote something? I'll send you my list of 100 quotes. Pick something you like. It's that easy. There you go. Okay, I'm a quote resource now. So let's go to Samuel Bentil. And by the way, Samuel's last name is Bentil, if anybody wants to look him up. And he has picked a quote from Samwise Gamgee, played by Sean Astin. Of course, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, 2002 epic high fantasy adventure film, second in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Astin is, I know the last name, the son of the actress Patty Duke, and he was adopted by her husband, the actor John Astin. Movie was directed by Peter Jackson, blah, 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 blah. Let's see, stars Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Liv Tyler, Viggo Mortensen, oh my goodness, Mortensen, Sean Astin, Kate Blanchett, goes on and on and on and on and on. Samwise Gamgee, aka Sam, is there we go, is a fictional character in Tolkien's Middle-earth, a hobbit, the chief supporting character, loyal companion and manservant of the protagonist, Frodo Baggins, member of the Fellowship of the Ring, the group of 9 charged with destroying the One Ring to prevent the Dark Lord Sauron from taking over the world. And Sam was Frodo's gardener. We'll leave it there. Here is the quote. There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. Samuel, don't fight me on this. Tell me what this quote has to do with your creativity. Go ahead. I had to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I used to know most of the quotes offhand. When I was in school, university, my nickname was Samwise Gamgee because I was quoting the Lord of the Rings like almost every day. You wouldn't believe it. So the inspiration is that my book on avoiding construction, being in the construction industry for the past 16 years plus. I've seen the highs and lows, and I've seen how things can go extremely well and how things can descend into chaos. But recently, the last couple of years, the construction industry has been really hitting extreme lows. There's a lot of disputes, and projects are not being completed on time or on budget, and the contractual parties are warring against each other, and it's bringing so much chaos. Construction companies are dissolving, and it's really causing a lot of chaos. So my inspiration from my experience in the construction field, I felt that there's a need for us, the mining industry, to refocus its mind into a mindset of ability to avoid all these issues that causes delays and causing all the relationship issues between parties on the field, so that projects can be completed on time. Projects are really exciting adventures. They are adventures to create something new. But because of these disputes, the process is not being enjoyed as it used to. So my book, Avoiding Construction Dispute, is to inspire the industry and show the ideas of how dispute can be avoided, how companies can work together and collaborate effectively and be able to achieve the project on time and on budget and avoid all the detrimental effect of disputes. So I believe there's so much good left in the world. And if we can look deep within ourselves and the industry, we'll be able to overcome it and be able to make our construction great again. So that is my inspiration from the quote.
Thank you very, very much. And I wanted to add that Gamgee, the name Gamgee, is from a local name for cotton wool, from a surgical dressing invented by Samson Gamgee. Sam's girlfriend, Rosie, is from the Cotton family. That's a lot of intricate lines going around there. So thank you very much. Suzan, it's time for your quote. You picked a quote from Auguste Gusteau, voiced by the person with one of the best voices ever, Brad Garrett. The movie is Ratatouille, or in French, Ratatouille, 2007 animated comedy drama film produced by Pixar for Walt Disney Pictures. It includes the voices of Patton Oswalt, Lou Romano, Ian Holm, Jeanine Garofalo, all kinds of other people, including Brad Garrett. And the title refers to the French dish. It's a food, ratatouille, and references the species of the main character, who was a rat, set mostly in Paris. There we go. Here's the line you have selected. If you focus on what you left behind, you will never be able to see what lies ahead. Suzan, talk to me. How'd you find this one? It's beautiful.
Isn't that great? Well, it's funny because I was Googling, great lines and stuff. And at the time I hadn't even seen the film, but I found this quote and I thought, yes, my life is so much about go forward, look forward. If you're always looking backwards, you're not looking forwards, right? If you're already looking over your shoulder. And then my granddaughter came over one day and she said, Oma, we have to watch Ratatouille. I said, okay. So I got to watch the whole movie and it really is cute. It's a cute film. But it really is, it's that quote that makes me think about what you can control in your life, right? There's not a lot you can control in your life, but you can control your focus, at least where you want to look. And some of the things, I think if you start trying to control things you can't control, then you lose control of the things you can control. And I'm not always a controlling kind of person, but basically focus forward. What's coming? And my life gets better and better. If I had a billboard somewhere, that's exactly what I would have on it. Life gets better and better. So I'm always looking forward. What's the next thing that I can do? I'm working on another book for teenagers, Wisdom and Numerology for Teenagers. I'm really excited about that. And I'm doing a lot of working on the interviews. I'm really trying to get my business going. So there's way much more fun ahead of me than what's behind me. And then there is that piece too, to honor where I've come from. It's not that I don't deny my past. It's just I don't focus on what's not working in it. I always like to look forward.
There you go.
That's my thing.
Thank you. Thank you all for the quotes. I appreciate those. Suzan, do you want to take a minute to do some numbers for
absolutely
Samuel and Lisa before we get to the creativity statement? Lisa, are you interested? You don't mind, do you?
Sure.
No.
Okay.
I need your birth month and your birthday.
Lisa, you go first.
0424.
424. Oh, that's a one. So the way that we calculate, what I'm going to tell you is your future, honey, for at least this year and next year. So we calculate your personal year. Every year has a number, and 2024, 2 + 2 + 4 is an 8. So this is an 8 year. Well, when we add your birthday and your birth month, those add up to 1, which we add to 8, gives you a 9 year. This is your year for completion, girl. This is your year to clean out your closets, clean out your metaphysical closets too, if you will. Get rid of anything that you do not want to take into your next 9-year cycle. Numerology runs on a 9-year cycle. And for you, next year is a 1 year. So that's new beginnings. So you want to clean out, let go. Things are probably have left you this year that maybe you weren't ready to go. 9 is a number of loss. Sometimes that's not always a bad thing, but just to let go. Sometimes it's friendship. Sometimes it's material things. Sometimes it's bad habits. But this is a year for you to really complete. Let it all go.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank
that's
you.
really cool.
I want to move on. Samuel, would you like to play along?
Sure.
Birthday?
2nd March.
3 and a 2.
Right.
So 5 plus 8 is 13, and that makes that a 4. This is your structure year, Samuel. It's an excellent time to write a book, and because you're building a new foundation. That's what this is about for you. A 4 is all about foundation. When you think about 2020, remember that was the big pandemic year. We all had to create a new foundation and a new way to live. Well, that's what this year is for you in a way. It's not going to be as intense, we hope, but this is your year to really, really work hard. It's a hardworking year. Diligence pays off, and really focus. Be committed, which is what you're doing. I mean, I can't even tell you, that's such a perfect year to write your book, to get your book published. It really is, because next year things are going to really take off. You need a good foundation, because next year's your 5-year and things are going to fly for you.
Wow.
Excited.
And I'm a 10 and a 7.
So you're at, 1 plus 7 is an 8, 8 and 8, 16. This is your year to go inward, Red. You need to go, this is your year. We call it the, what do I want to say? You ask the big questions this year. Why am I here? What am I doing? Is what I'm doing going the right way? You really look inward with asking, why am I here again? And you really get to reevaluate what's happening in your life. This is a year I tell people to go on a vision quest, if you will. I mean, really take that extra time for yourself to spend time. And you need time alone. Absolutely.
Oh, I have plenty of that.
Oh, good. Well,
oh, yeah.
But yeah, but the other thing about you is that you like your own company. It's not like you're always out searching for people. You're very comfortable with who you are. And so you like that time. I would say it's also a good time if you were, you are creative, you do write. So maybe go deeper. Julia Cameron, who wrote, oh no, it's not gone. Oh, I'll have to think about it. She wrote a hugely popular creative book years ago. The Art of, I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't believe
we'll look it up. That's okay.
Anyway, yeah. So Julia Cameron recommends writing a page and a half to 3 pages in a journal every day, because the first page and a half is usually just getting the dust out. And then after a page and a half, things come through that you don't know. And I would suggest that for you, to take some extra time to journal. I think that would,
I appreciate
especially
that.
now. Okay.
I'm doing a children's video storybook based on a character my mother created when I was a little girl, and she told it to my children when they were little, and we kept it in the family. And so I have created the characters. They're a family of kittens, and they're adventurers. And I've done animations for the characters, and I've decided on my voice. I'm going to narrate it, and I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. I'll let you all know. And my novel is sitting here. I wrote it and I haven't published it yet. So that's the next thing. So the writing has happened, but thank you. Let's everybody give a round of applause to Suzan. Thank you for doing that. I never impose on my guests to do anything like that spur of the moment, but I had the feeling you were willing and I knew you were able. So thank you very much. And I'm glad
I have a question.
Yes, dear. Go ahead.
Did you say your birthday was 10/7? October 7th?
Yeah. 1/7.
10/7?
Yeah. Why?
Yes. October.
Yes.
Both of my parents are October 7th.
Oh, no way.
And both of my grandmothers were Rose. We need to
We'll talk later.
We need to talk later. We need to talk. Yeah. I've been having these synchronicities come the past couple weeks. Things are starting to spin a little bit. Lisa, I'm going to borrow your crown when we're sitting in that purple chair, and we're going to borrow Samuel's blue shirt, and we're going to have a really good time. Okay, let's move on. I hear your creativity statements. Lisa, you sent me 3 statements that are all kind of linked together. I'm going to read these, spend about 2 to 3 minutes, and just give us a little more. You say, I'm fortunate to create every day in my day job. I love coming up with images, slogans, riffs, and trying new videos and photo tools to aid me in my job. And then you talk about, and you modify things, and you like to be quirky and have a sense of humor. So let's go with the images, slogans, riffs, and trying new tools. Lisa, go ahead. 3 minutes. What is this about for your creativity? Please go.
I wondered actually if I was answering that correctly.
Yeah, you did.
I took it as, my personal life. So I get my day job is social media in the gluten-free space. So I create images, on theme and articles and videos, and I love being able to use a different template. They're just different little apps, where you can um, just use the images and things like that to create what you want. And I just have a lot of fun with it. And I have a TikTok account that's more for the book and for this. And even for that, putting the music to it, deciding what music, deciding how we're going to say it, adding a little bit of humor to it. It's just it makes having to work a day job a lot more fun.
It does. It really does. And that's why I enjoy my radio shows. And by the way, the background you see behind me is not the original, which was one of my original paintings. This I created in a program called Night Cafe Studio. And I said I wanted lipstick. I wanted red and pink circles. I wanted a red microphone.
Hmm.
And it put all this together. I went into Photoshop and took the elements and created those. And then I added the lips and added the text in Photoshop. So this is a conglomeration of me plus a program that allowed me to be creative in a way that I did not know how to do. So I understand about, and this is basically my chosen day job, Lisa. So I get it. Thank you very much. I want to move on to Samuel. I'm picking your statement number 4, which I included in your introductory poem, Samuel, and we want to know about this. Samuel says, creativity is adaptability. He says, I view creativity as the ability to adapt, be flexible, and thrive in changing circumstances. In my household, I'm quoting Samuel, when a disagreement arose from differences in culture or family traditions, we solved it by creatively blending customs, combining favorite family recipes to celebrate a holiday tradition. This promoted understanding and compromise, strengthening the household relationship. So can you make us hungry, Samuel?
Wow.
What kinds of recipes? This is a big one. This is
I want to
and
live in his house.
I've never heard anybody say this before. So Samuel, you're up. Talk to us, please.
Yeah, my household, we are 3 in our household. So I originally from Ghana. In Ghana, we have an English, a British colonial heritage in Ghana. And my wife is originally from the DR Congo. And DR Congo, they have a French colonial history orientation. So when I worked in a mining company and I moved to Congo, where I initially met my wife, I realized that the food that they ate was totally different from what we ate in Ghana. In Ghana, we had a really spicy based food. We ate a lot of spicy stuff and very hot soups or hot sauces. But the tradition from my wife's home country is no spice. They eliminate spice. Their cooking is totally different. In Ghana, everything is put into the sauce into the pot, and everything is mixed together. In their cooking tradition, they separate all the various components and they serve it separately and allow the eater to bring the food together and put it on their plates. So I've been married for about 7, 8 years now, with my wife at home, and my mom-in-law has joined us for the last 5 years. You can imagine the kind of appetite, and when it comes to cooking and celebrating family birthdays and we are coming together to eat, how my wife has to creatively blend the food tradition from our home country and her home country in order for us to be able to enjoy one dish together. So it's been really exciting. Sometimes we take 10, I cook, and my wife also cooks, and we try to blend our traditions and blend our food together in order for us to be able to manage and be able to enjoy the best of each of what each of our traditions are present. So I found out that creativity is being adaptable, being able to, under any circumstances, should be able to adapt and be able to go with the flow, what is happening at the moment, in order for everybody to enjoy and be able to work together as one.
That's beautiful. That is just beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was profound, Mr. Bentil.
Wow.
That was really profound.
Thank you so
I've
much.
never heard that. I have hundreds of guests on this show, every year, and over the years, I've never heard anything quite like that. And that's why I picked that out of all your
All right.
statements. Thank you. Let's go to Suzan. I'm looking at number 3 here, statement 3. I'll read it, Suzan. Suzan says, when I'm creating, I have an idea of what I want to create, but that's only the beginning. I made a little garden goddess. Lisa, you'll like this one, out of iron springs. I went to the dumpster, diving in a metal recycling plant, and collected spring coils of different sizes that spoke to me. I'm going to stop there and let you tell the rest of the story, Susan. This is interesting. Go ahead, please.
Well, it was just so much fun because I just collected what spoke to me, right? I had no idea how this thing was going to come together. And I was actually in a creative group, and the assignment was do something about spring because it was springtime. And I thought, yeah, I don't want to do flowers. So the spring came to me. So I went to this metal recycling place. I found all these coils. I found long stringy coils, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with those big fat coils, big. Anyway, I sat in my garage for a couple days because it's not something you can just put together, right? So I finally went out there and I kind of laid things out. It sort of in a two-dimensional. She's laying down, and I thought, oh, okay. This is her feet. I get it. And I'd weld the feet, and then I built her up. And those long stringy coil, well, that was her hair. And I thought, oh, this is great. It was so much fun, and connecting them and realizing that this is the creative process. You don't hurry it. You let it percolate inside you. And she's sitting, I don't have a garden. I live in an apartment. So she's sitting in my daughter's yard. So she's still happy.
That's lovely. That is lovely. Yes. I took this, I'm in a house in Loudon, as I mentioned, and there's a sunroom. It doesn't have heat or air conditioning in it, but it's at the end of the house, looks like it was an add-on, and there are windows. There's a door that goes to the back deck, 2 windows, and 3 windows on the other side. So it's looking at the back and the side garden. The light is unbelievable. So when I moved in, I said to the movers, I took my mom's dining room. My mom passed away at the age of 100 years, 1 month, and 15 days, living on her own, no caregivers, no aid. She said, what, they're going to watch me get dressed, play mahjong, play the piano, play bridge, go get my hair done once a week and my nails? You're paying somebody for that? She said, skip it. Anyway, she took a cough. We didn't know. It was the killer flu of 2017. Called me. I went over that night. A miracle. The roads were cleared of snow. My car doesn't go in the snow. And I arrived there and I said, Mom, if you had an aide, and she said something very unpleasant to me. And I held her in my arms, tried to adjust her pillow, and she took her last cough and passed away in my arms. But anyway, the point is that I had her dining room table I moved with me, and her baby grand piano, which is getting very expensive to move from state to state. I need to start playing again. And I said to the movers, take this beautiful dining room table, the kind with the leaves where you could say, I'm having 8 or 10 for dinner, and you keep putting these inserts in. I said, put it in this room, in the middle of the room. It's a small room, maybe 10 by 10, 11 by 11. And then I said, I have a great big piece of glass that's about a 1/2 inch thick. I broke the base of it. It was a table I used in my home in Durham. Put it on top to protect the table. And I made it into an art studio. And what I'm telling you is I collect things like labels from packages and odds and ends, anything that's pretty or shiny or has interesting type. And I was making my own collage papers. And I have over 350 paintings I've done, and I'm not selling them. I'm not promoting them anywhere. It's just my release. But I love that sense of, here's a canvas. It's a white canvas. It's a black canvas. Am I going to use watercolors? Am I going to use acrylics? Am I going to use fake jewels? Am I going to pour? Am I going to brush? Am I going to use a balloon in the wet paint? Am I going to use a spatula to scrape the colors? And I never know. And it's my little haven. It's just my little art haven. And I painted three pieces yesterday, and I don't care. They're all over the walls of my house and my garage. Interesting. So I appreciate that very, very much. I want to show you all something. I don't usually do this, but I came across this. I'm going to share my screen just for a second here, my second screen. And I think you'll all appreciate this. Can you see this, all this colorful stuff I've got here?
Mhm.
This is an exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art by a passed away artist named Mike Kelly, Kelley. And he collected stuffed animals from garage sales and basically thrown away. And he sewed them so that the faces weren't showing, so there was no emotional hook onto the faces, into these spaces here, into these forms, and hangs them from the ceiling. He passed away several years ago. And then it's called deodorized collection with deodorizer. and satellites, and they release a spray of mint spray into the room. This is on the second floor of MoMA right now in New York. And somebody found this collection in this gorgeous, look at the colors. I think we got some purples in there and some, aren't these splendid? And I was just telling somebody if I could go, let me stop sharing. If I could go to any museum in the world, I'm a New Yorker, I'd love to go back to MoMA because I always enjoyed it. So I looked up what's being displayed there and I came across this. And I thought, this is really something. They're sewn with the faces in so you don't get an emotional reaction. And then it's talking about the decay of civilization. It's a heavy duty thing, but it's so pretty. The colors are gorgeous. So I wanted to share that all with you. And by the way, I have a quote here from Rapunzel in the movie Tangled. And the quote was, venture outside your comfort zone. The rewards are worth it. You all agree with that one?
Absolutely. Yes.
And then
absolutely.
Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, played by Billy Burke years ago in the original fantasy film, The Wizard of Oz, said to Susan and to me and to Lisa, you had the power all along, my dear. She could have said that to Samuel as well. We have a couple minutes left. I would like to give you some background in events and music history today, if you're all interested. I have a little trivia, and then we'll come back for some final statements. So does anybody remember a song Debbie Reynolds sang called Tammy? Tammy, Tammy, Tammy. Remember that? Well, that song in 1957 hit #1 on the music charts for 5 weeks. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but I did. The same day, August 19th in 1957, Newsweek, the magazine, ran a special music report, and Pat Boone was on the cover. Remember Pat Boone? And he said the title was, his refreshing song fills the air. I thought that was interesting. So that's what music was. 10 years later, All You Need Is Love by the Beatles hit #1 on the charts. Okay. 2 years after that, they were cleaning up. You all know about Woodstock at Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. They brought in bulldozers to bring the trash into a fire pit and burned it from what had happened. Yes, I know. In 1972, in the state, Chicago's LP, Chicago 5, hit #1. Let's see, Patti LaBelle in 77 went solo and debuted the song You Are My Friend. And I think I have one more for you. In 1988, on this day, Elvis Presley's You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, I will never be hired as an Elvis impersonator, was named the most played song in the first 100 songs on Jukebox. And in 1990, Leonard Bernstein conducted his final concert, playing music from Beethoven and from Benjamin Britten. I thought that was interesting. Now, today is the birthday. I want you all to join me in wishing a happy birthday to John Stamos, the actor. Everybody remember him? Yes.
Oh.
Anybody want to take a guess how old John Stamos is? Anybody want to take a guess? He's not a baby anymore.
50 something, isn't he?
No, I think he's in his 60s, mid to late 60s.
61.
No, he's younger than I am.
61.
71?
61.
61?
61. He played Jesse Katsopolis on Full House, and that was on ABC, and Netflix's Fuller House. He played Dr. Tony Gates on ER. I remember that from 2006, 2009. He was in all kinds of other things. He's a guitar player and a drummer, and he has played with the Beach Boys in their concerts. I don't know if you knew that. And he was on the 1988 music video Kokomo, playing conga drums and steel drums.
Oh my gosh.
And he
I'll
was
have
in
to watch
General
that now.
Hospital before he got famous. He had a role in John Deacon. I put his birthday in. He is 73. Why is he here? Because he was the bass player and a composer with Queen, the British rock group. And he's alive and well, and he retired. He was there with Freddie Mercury. He was notable for songs We Are the Champions and Bohemian Rhapsody. But what's interesting was he was the last and youngest member to join Queen, and he wrote at least one song on each album for Queen. I thought that was very, very interesting. Okay, in memoriam, I'm sure at least some of you have heard of Coco Chanel. Well, Coco Chanel was born on this day in 1883. She lived to almost 90. French fashion designer. We've all heard of Samuel. Have you heard of Chanel No. 5, the perfume? Perhaps? No? Well, go to a department store and somebody will let you take a whiff. And the handbag with the blocked CC monogram on it. She was an orphan, Susan.
Oh, wow.
She taught herself to sew, and she found her first job as a seamstress. She wanted to be a singer, Lisa. And at 23, she fell for a French ex-cavalry officer named Etienne Balson, and she became his main mistress. And one of her clients was Greta Garbo. Interesting. See what you learn? Okay, we have 3 social media Birthdays today. Noel Miller is a gentleman who's 24. Why are we celebrating him? Because he has 2.6 million subscribers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel, do you have 2.6 million subscribers on YouTube yet? I don't. I don't even have 100.
Not yet.
Not yet. Every week I celebrate people who've got this. He does sketch comedy videos. We're all in the wrong business. He was a former Vine superstar who had 100,000 followers. And when Vine folded, he switched over to YouTube. And then we have a young man named Tony Lopez, who's a year older. He's 25 today. Are you sitting down, Susan? I don't know about your numbers, but he only has 23 million followers on TikTok. Only 23 million. He's half of his brother's duo, Lopez Brothers, with his brother Andreas. They have dance performances, comedy, and lip sync videos. I just wanted you to know, as I said, we're all in the wrong business here. Today is International Bow Day, celebrating bow ties. Does anybody know the country where the bow tie originated or a semblance thereof? Want to take a guess?
Britain.
England. Yeah, Britain. I'd say Britain too.
Croatia. In the 17th century, mercenaries tied a scarf around their neck to keep the shirt from opening up during the Prussian Wars. And then the French found out about it, adopted it, and they adopted the term for tie, cravat, which is French for Croatia. And then it continued in popularity. Then Pierre Lorillard, French-American designer, wore a different style with a tuxedo at the Tuxedo Park Country Club. Marlene Dietrich and Katharine Hepburn wore bow ties in the movies. And Winston Churchill had the polka dot bow tie in his first term. There you go. Today is National Aviation Day and Week. It's National Photography Day. It's National Potato Day. Anybody want to guess which country cultivated the first potato?
Ireland.
The Incas in Peru in 8000 BC. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Today is National Soft Ice Cream Day, and the dispute is, Marco Polo returned from Italy with an ice cream recipe, and it was at the table of Charles I, and Catherine de' Medici, who married Henry II of France, brought it to France. America was introduced to soft ice cream in the 1740s, and apparently George Washington at Mount Vernon and his estate had 2 ice cream pots. He spent $200 on ice cream one summer. He loved it so much. So much for George Washington. Here's the dispute. Tom Carvel. Remember Fudgy the Whale? Tom Carvel. If you lived in New York, you knew Carvel ice cream. He was supposed to have had an ice cream truck, and his truck got a flat tire. Talk about adaptability, Samuel. And he had to sell off the ice cream in a hurry, and it was soft, and everybody loved it. So he went and set up a shop. But Dairy Queen claims that J.F. McCullough and his son had a soft serve formula in Illinois, and they were successful. And there's even this rumor that Margaret Thatcher was working as a chemist at a food company, and she developed American soft serve ice cream. Can you imagine the prime minister? There we go. Today is, August is Goat Cheese Month, Panini Month, Sandwich Month, Brownies at Brunch, and Catfish Month. That's all I'll tell you. And let's get a final quick one line about your creativity, one sentence each. Lisa, go. What do you want us to remember you by? One line, go.
Oh my God. Unleash your queen. Be the queen. Be a queen.
That's it. That's beautiful. And you'll get a crown at Medieval. There you go. Samuel Bentil, what do you want us to remember about creativity?
Creativity is adaptability.
I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. It's
Yeah.
also curiosity. It's also being courageous. It's
Exactly.
also taking chances and being a risk taker and
Exactly.
adapting. I think you need to do all that before you get to that. So you and I are a good partner on that. Suzan Owens, creativity. What's your final statement?
I would say that it's about being outside the box and being comfortable being outside the box and really going creativity. Real quick, today's my birthday, so thank you for all
We
that.
didn't know that. Lisa, can you pass over
Hey.
the crown to Susan?
Yeah,
for
right.
birthday? Why
Yeah,
didn't
right?
you tell me?
Happy
Oh my goodness.
birthday
Yeah.
to
Oh,
you.
I'm sitting here.
We have a
Happy
professional
birthday.
There you go. I want to close now, but don't go away. We'll continue to talk, everybody. So in 2014, I closed the show with the top 10 tips for women. And the number one tip, 2014, this was 10 years ago, was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. I just wanted you to know that. I saved my notes. And here, Samuel, hope you're not offended. And here are my final closing words. I got to hurry up. Life is short. Break the rules. Yep. Forgive quickly. Nah. Kiss slowly. Definitely. Love truly. We know that. Laugh uncontrollably. Join me in a quick laugh. 1, 2, 3. Hurt yourself. Okay, don't. And never regret anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money because you're the only one who really cares. Work and enjoy it. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in a high school cafeteria in high heels on top of a Formica table, I didn't fall, but everybody watched. Sing like nobody's listening. I didn't sing too much. And love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regenerate, regrow, come back and love again. Money talks, chocolate sings. And that was on tune. And last but not least, I stole this line from another host years ago. Thank you for turning me on. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. Michael, are we out?
We are out.